Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Mental Health with Alana. For today's video, I'm going to be talking about how you can manage anxiety on a daily basis. If you're new here, please press that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you like to see more videos like this. And I also have a business called Care Boxes by Alana. I create sensory boxes for your mental health to improve your emotional well-being and to help you in times of crisis and distress. And I have a website, www.careboxesbyalana.com. I also have my link tree down below, so you can click that and go straight to the website and look at my store. I have my social medias linked down below as well, if you'd like to check that out. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching this video. My Mental Health with Alana Instagram I will show here if you're interested in following, and I also have a main Instagram which you can look at as well. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So my first tip for managing anxiety on a regular basis is to take medication if you are prescribed it. So this is really important because if you don't take your medication regularly, it's not going to work. So obviously it won't relate to you if you don't take medication for your mental health, but if you do and you're prescribed stuff for your mental health or specifically for anxiety, make sure that you're taking it regularly, because if you're stopping and starting it or missing days or missing weeks and just not remembering to take it, it's definitely not going to have a full effect and it's not going to work how it's supposed to. Especially with psychiatric medications, it takes time for it to build up in your system. So you do need to be regular with it. And I know it's really hard to remember. But even if you only remember later on in the day, it's still important to take it. My second tip is to use sensory items. So, like I said, I do have a business where I create sensory boxes, and this can be really helpful for your anxiety because you can get sensory items and sensory toys. And something that I have in the care boxes, but that I also use on a regular basis, is a essential oil. And I have a couple different ones, but this one is a sleep one, and I also use it for anxiety. It's lavender and aloe vera. It's a roll-on one. Some of these are in the sensory boxes, depending on which ones you buy. But I do have essential oils in the care boxes that I make. But yeah, this one, it smells really good. I like to put it on my wrist, and I also like to put it kind of like underneath my kind of like where my jawline is, just so I can kind of smell it. Another thing you could do is to put something that smells like lavender under your pillow, or in your room or wherever you are, or even in your car or somewhere where you're going to be spending a bit of time, just to kind of be breathing that in. And I like it because it's very grounding, and it can kind of just bring you back when you're feeling like you're going to have a panic attack, or maybe you're feeling a bit out of it or dissociated because of your anxiety. The other thing that ties into using essential oils is something that I really like to do, and this helps my anxiety a lot when I'm at home, when I'm upset, or if I'm really like anxious and irritated and I can't just like really regulate my emotions. I like to put on a candle. So this one is really nice. It's caramel, pumpkin, and apple. And yeah, it's so nice. And I just get them from TK Maxx. They're like, this one was $13. And then yeah, I have so many different candles, and I also use an oil diffuser which I have in my room. And so this one's pumpkin crumble, just because it's been like um October and stuff. But yeah, like I have a bunch of different candles. I literally got candles everywhere. Got this one yesterday. I love candles because for me, the sense that really helps me is smell. And then the second one would be like touch, so blankets and um, cuddly. Like you can see on my bed, I have squishmallows and things like that. So, and then even on this chair, I have a blanket. And this I keep on this chair or on my bed, and I wrap myself in this. And using these things for me really help, because I do have agoraphobia, panic attacks, generalized anxiety, and social anxiety. And so, especially for the um, you know, anxiety and agoraphobia part, I really do find these things helpful, and I like that you can take this out with you. So that is handy. I spend a lot of time at home because I am disabled. So I'm not currently working. So and even when I am working, I never work full time. So I spend a lot of time at home. So I like to have things around me that are very comforting and bring me like peace and stuff. Um, so yeah, then my third suggestion is to keep a anxiety chart or like an anxiety diary. So if you've ever done CBT therapy, you'll probably have heard about this, but you keep a thought diary and you write down the thought that you're having, the main thought, and then the feeling you have, and then you rate it out of like 10 or out of 100, and you keep track of this and you write all of your thoughts down as the days go on, and then you challenge the thoughts that you have. So one of my big like anxiety thoughts is that if I leave my house and if I go out, I'm going to get really anxious and panic or feel really unwell and want to go home and then be stuck in like feel like I'm stuck out and trapped there. So that's a big like anxiety thing because I have agoraphobia. So for instance, tonight I have to go out, and even though I actually like going out for this thing that I do, I volunteer at youth group and I love going, I love being with the kids and I have a really good time. But every week when I have to go, I always get so anxious and I spend the whole day just thinking, oh my gosh, I can't go. Like, I have to leave the house, and before I go, I get really anxious. So for me, I've recognized that one of my anxiety thoughts is because I have agoraphobia, it's often the fear of being trapped in places. So what I do is I distract myself, number one. I recognize that's the thought, and I would rate it probably a 60 or a 70 out of 100. That's how much the anxiety affects me. So I know that I have this event on every Friday night, except for on school holidays. So what I do is I kind of plan ahead with some thoughts that I can use. So I tell myself during the day when I get anxious, I tell myself, and you can write all this down, but I've done it a lot, so now I have it in my head. But I'll remind myself, I have a really good time when I go. I enjoy being with the kids and I get to see my friends. I always leave and feel really happy and fulfilled when I go and volunteer and when I help. And I say I'm making a difference in people's lives. So I tell myself all of these things of why I like doing it. And it's really helpful just to remind yourself, because it's not that I don't want to go, it's just I get so anxious about having to leave the house, and especially because I go on my own. Um, so yeah, because obviously, especially when you have something like agoraphobia, you often want your safe person, or like you have a person who you'd rather just go everywhere with, but it's just not, that's not realistic, and you have to learn to be independent. So having those thoughts in your head ready to combat all those anxiety thoughts, it's kind of a part of CBT, which I've done before, but it's commonly used to treat anxiety, CBT therapy, and that's what one of the activities that we'll do that I found really helpful. So write down all of those things. If you want to look online, you can look on Pinterest or on the internet and just type in CBT worksheets or CBT thought diary, and it will have all the worksheets right there, and you can just do that yourself. You don't even have to go to therapy. So yeah, that is my other suggestion. My fourth one is to spend time with people who you feel safe with. So, if you're feeling really anxious, it depends, maybe you don't want to be around people, but if you feel like going and sitting with someone helps, then just go and sit with somebody if you can. Or, if you've got a friend who you text, maybe just send them a text, and you don't even have to say that you're feeling really anxious, but you could maybe just like vent a bit about what you're being stressed about, what you're thinking about. If you don't have anyone, you can use online free counseling services. So within Australia, we have something called eHeadspace. that is a really great tool. I often use it regularly, and I just go on there and join some group chats and chat with other people, or I will do the speak to a counselor. If you have an eating disorder, the Butterfly Foundation within Australia is really good. Although that helpline seems to be always busy, it's very hard to get in to that helpline. I've only ever gotten in once successfully because it's so busy. But there's other ones like Beyond Blue, Kids Helpline is a big one. So anything like this, you can talk to a counselor either by text, by email, or just by like online messaging, and they'll respond back. Sometimes there is a bit of a wait time, but this is really great if you're just really anxious and you just need some support, some resources, and some distraction, or just to vent and feel like you have some support. That's a really good one. Or you can always call your local like mental health um, line that's attached to the hospital, and you can speak to somebody there as well. I have the one for my local area. I'm not sure, if other countries have this, but I know within Australia we have a specialist mental health care line. I was just looking at the card to see what it actually was called. That's attached to the hospital. But yeah, so that is my other tip. So those are the things that I would recommend. The other thing that I really like to do is have a cup of tea or have a hot Milo or hot drink of any sort, tea, coffee, whatever you like. Um, I really like to have one of those and just like sit there and watch like a movie or a show that I find really comforting, like Gilmore Girls, or I'll watch a movie, like one of my favorite movies. So just something that's really comforting can help you and distract you as well. So I hope this helped. And if you have any other suggestions on how you deal with anxiety,